friends, this is Susan over at Susan Sews Love. I am working on a quick little project today and I wanted to share it with you. My son, one of his friends has a birthday coming up and I wanted to make her a nice little gift for her birthday. And so I pulled out my fabric stash and found a couple of pieces of fleece and decided to make a double layer fleece blanket, a no-sew blanket. This one is not, the tassels are not tied, they're actually slipped through a hole in the middle, and I'll show you all how to do that today. So I just wanted to give you a little rundown on how it works. As you can see, I already have half of the blanket done, and so I'm just going to show you how to do this edge here and then the side that I haven't done yet. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start, this corner I've already done, but we're going to start with this corner and we need to cut out a 3-inch square. Now if you're making a longer blanket you can do 5 inches, or a larger blanket you can do 5 inches. Since this is a fairly small blanket I didn't want to use all of the fabric up in just the tassel, so I'm doing 3 inches. And I have my handy dandy little measuring tag. It just is the perfect size for it, so it's exactly 3 inches long. So I just making sure not to cut my pin. I need to move that in so it's not in the way. It just keeps the fabrics together. It's not really necessary. So just cut a 3-inch square out here, and so you'll have these cute little 2 pieces of squares you can use for some other little project. And then I need to cut the tassels, and those are going to be the same 3 inches long, and they'll be about 1.5 inches wide. That's about how wide this is. So I'm just going to use this as a little measuring device. I just lay it right down along the edge and cut up. Now I will tell you that fleece can be tricky to cut with any device. So far I found that my good metal gingers work the best. So I just go along and cut the slits, and the nice thing is nothing has to be perfect here. You do not have to micromanage each little centimeter to have every tie perfectly symmetrical. If something's a little crooked or some are a little shorter or a little longer, for the most part it's not going to matter. You want them all about the same length just so it looks nice when it's all finished, but it really doesn't matter. In fact, you'll be able to tell on this blanket I didn't even have the fabric sizes completely the same length. If there was a big difference, I trimmed off the extra. But I was working with the fabric sizes I had on hand and didn't want to do a lot of cutting into new fabric. We're getting closer to the end here, and when we get down to the end it's not going to come out exactly the same. The last 2 ties are not going to be exactly the same length, and that just is part of what makes this blanket unique. Oh, actually on this one it looks like they will be basically the same size. Most of them don't turn out that way. Most of them I have to make 2 slightly smaller ones or something like that. Alright, so now I've got all these tassels cut out. So what we're going to do next is you're going to fold the tassel up to where it's trimmed, and then you're going to cut a little slit in the middle. Don't worry, I'll get down there where you can see better in just a minute. So when you finish you should have 2 little holes through both layers of fleece. The nice thing about doing no-sew fleece blankets is that fleece does not ravel, so you don't have to worry about raw edges fraying over time or things like that. So it just makes a real quick, easy gift and a project most anyone can do regardless of what kind of sewing experience or or whether they have a sewing machine or not, because hey, it doesn't require one. Try to keep everything even here, but occasionally I get caught on the fabric. This I find is the hardest part, because with the double layers folded in half, you're essentially cutting through 4 layers of fabric, and so it doesn't always like cutting through 4 layers of fleece. And some of these I'll have to go back and just make the hole a little bit larger if I didn't get it quite all the way through the first layer the second time, or the first time. Alright, so I'm getting closer to that end down there, a little over halfway through. I like to do one edge all the way through at a time, so that then if I have to move the fabric to get a better angle at the other side, it's not a huge worry about things not being lined up, because they're already tied, or not tied, but tucked through. There we go. Alright, so like I said, here's a little closer view so you can see. I just folded up to where the cut is, and then right in the middle I cut through the double layers folded in half to make a little hole through both layers. Make sure I don't nick my pin or nick my scissors with the pin. Alright, so then we're going to go back through and see I didn't get that one quite enough. Go back through, and what we're doing is we're going to fold these over and we're going to tuck them down through the top. So you just poke them through the hole and pull them out on the other side. And sometimes if you don't quite get the hole big enough, it's kind of tricky. But you should have both pieces when they come through. And then you'll just pull them snug so that the little turnover point will be the back fabric, but the tassel you'll see the front fabric. I know some people have talked about if you want the back fabric to show on the tassel, you can turn them halfway or twist them or something like that. I haven't tried that. I just like the look of the back fabric making a border and then the front fabric being the tassels. Oh, wasn't even thinking and did that one backwards. So the nice thing is that if you make a mistake on this, it's usually not too hard to fix. My son has one like this that I made him for Christmas. It's John Deere fabric on one side and Angry Birds on the other. And I've washed it a couple times and haven't had any problems with the ties or tassels coming undone. But I have heard other people say that it has happened to them. And if that happens, you just line everything up and retuck the tassels through the hole. So even if it does come undone in the wash or something like that, it shouldn't be hard to fix. I'll see here, I didn't quite get the hole big enough. So I just add a little snip to it. Usually the back hole is large enough, it's just the front hole that doesn't always get cut all the way through. And so keep your scissors handy, don't go and put them away just because you cut the holes. Try again. Sometimes you don't get them lined up right and they don't want to go through. Alright. So as you can see, it's not too hard. What I am going to do real quick, just so you can see, is I'm going to do the first couple tassels on this side so that you can see that there's really nothing to going around a corner. We already cut the 3-inch square out here, so it's ready to just cut into strips. So I'm just going to do about 3 here to make sure you can see how easy a corner is. Alright, so you do the same thing, you just fold it up into where the cut goes. Cut through the double layers folded. And then make sure you got a hole there, because sometimes it just doesn't quite want to go. And then I like to fold the ties in half like that and stick the corners through first. That way I can get a hold of something. Because once you get one through, the other corners usually come. Ouch! And watch out for your pins. You might as well take them out at that point when you have some tied. So fold it in half. Tuck the corners through the hole. There we go. Gonna make that one a little bit bigger so I can get them through. Fold it, fold the tie in half. Maybe. And then pull them through. And there you have a finished corner with these nice little tassels. So basically, folks, that's a nice, easy project you can do without taking too much time. All you need is a couple of good sized pieces of fleece. I have also made one that's fleece on one side and minky on the other. As far as I know, the individual that received it has not had any problems with the minky raveling. But it makes it a very soft blanket. I actually made it for a niece who had not really enjoyed any particular blankets, and so we decided we'd try the fleece on one side with minky on the other, and she immediately curled up with the blanket on the floor and just cuddled with it. And so these types of blankets are a nice little thoughtful and practical gift that you can easily make regardless of your sewing experience, because like I said, they're no sew. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.